Welcome to the video podcast developed to provide educational information and strategies for parents or to parents to help their children achieve an education. The video podcasts were developed under an idea created by Dean Colleen Kennedy of the College of Education and Dr. Manuel Duran. Dr. Duran, a retired principal and successful advocate of Latino education, is here with us to help us understand the value of this podcast, which in reality will be video podcast. Dr. Duran.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for
My
this
pleasure.
wonderful idea and working with Dr. Kennedy, our dean, in promoting the production of the video podcast. But my question is, why the idea? Why using a video podcast?
I spent 35 years with the school district providing the support to Latino families always. And my concern was there needs to be a story told to all Latino families. I could only do one school at a time, and it was impossible for me to do them all. What they need to know is that support is here. They can be successful. I always think back to my educational career in first grade when I went to school, and I only spoke Spanish. And the
And
principal
how
called.
did you manage?
Well, that was what we spoke. I mean, that was the cigar factory school, the El Cuesta to be specific. And the principal calls my mother and says, "You got to get him out of here. He spends all day talking Spanish to them Cuban kids, and if you don't move him to an all English-speaking school, he's never going to learn English." So I was the first bilingual immersion program in Hillsborough County that I know of. And they moved me, and son of a gun, I learned how to speak English. I learned how to eat and ask where the bathroom was, because you can see I was still eating. And I was successful. Once I learned English, education was an easy thing, because I had my Spanish speaking skills in my brain, and I learned my English speaking skills, and together between the two languages, I was able to do great, especially with reading and those types of tests. I could figure out words that nobody else knew, because I had this background.
So if I understand you correctly, on one hand, your own experience educated you in terms of what was needed to help Latino students to succeed,
Right.
but also you were almost doing a video podcast face to face.
My life was a video podcast
Uh-huh.
on what we needed to do.
And what that brings to mind is the idea then that you really believe that Latinos can achieve an education and be successful at it.
Well, definitely. One of the things we started when I was with the school district was Club Arriba. And one of the things we would do was partnership with USF, bring students out here, let them know that becas are available, that scholarships are available, and those types of things, that they have a chance to go to college. And we convinced these students. Some of them went on to become doctors and lawyers. One of my students, actually, that I taught in Crestwood Elementary, I had her at Pierce with the Club Arriba. She went on to Jefferson with Club Arriba. Then she got a Latino scholarship at USF, full boat. She got everything paid for, and she was extremely successful. Next thing I know, she's knocking at my door when I was principal at Alexander, asking me for a job. Well, who do you think I'm going to hire? This attractive, bilingual, well-educated, well-supported student that I've always known, who was successful. And everybody can have that success story.
Which is interesting because a number of times you hear people speaking about the schools with a high representation of Latinos as having difficulties to achieve an A grade level or a B grade level. What is this in your experience?
I don't want to use any dirty terms, but I was at two schools, both D's. They were 85 to 90% low socioeconomic status, and also 85 to 90% Spanish speaking. They're Hispanic. A lot of times they report 85%, but then you check the multiracials, and they're Spanish speaking also. So you got your 90% there. And they turned both those schools around to A's. They all made AYP. This year, the new scores came out at Alexander, where I was a blessed principal there, and they're making an A again. They're well above the cutoff rate.
Wonderful to hear that because I do believe
Because they can
that,
be successful.
Yes, I do believe that Latino students can be
No,
successful.
I believe in them.
And also believe that parents can help them to succeed. Now, if I understand this correctly, the way we have organized the video podcast are based around experts in different aspects that can be of relevancy and help to the parents.
Especially, these are people that I would call as a teacher or as a principal for extra help. If I had a guidance counselor that didn't speak English and didn't understand some of the things the families needed, they would call the district to get assistance from somebody that did. And we will be listening and hearing from those types of people in this podcast.
Wonderful. Thank you very much
My pleasure.
for this introduction to the video podcast.